What is going on, sexy and beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the Sex Mechanic Podcast. I am, of course, your host, the Sex Mechanic, aka Jeanson Benoit, aka Mr. Born to Explore, aka Confident Creator, aka The Exception, aka I Did It My Way. And you are tuned in for episode number 20 of the Sex Mechanic Podcast. Wow, number 20. This is kind of a bit, it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a big deal. Sorry for the technical difficulties that I just had. I started a video, then ended it because I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. But we got it worked out. So we are back and ready to go. As you can tell, Joanne's not able to join us today, but she's definitely with us in spirit. She's getting some stuff done. So you'll likely see her on the next podcast episode. But yeah, welcome back, y'all. As you know, I like to start with the appreciation portion. I've got a nice vibe and ambiance going with the candle and the incense burning in the background. So I'm feeling the vibe right now. I like it, real smooth. And then um also I got my drink. Got some hard cider right now. So cheers to y'all out there who are also having a drink. Toast. And I say let's get into it. Now, a lot of people have been telling me that they have not been able to get on the live because their Google name shows up and they don't necessarily want their Google name showing up when they're asking questions or making comments. So I want to give a simple and quick tutorial on how to change that. So if you want to change your name on all Google platforms through Google, you go to your YouTube account. In the top upper right hand corner, you're going to see the picture of yourself. You click on that, you go to manage accounts, and within manage accounts, you're going to see personal information. You go to personal information and you change the name to whatever you want it to be. Just realize that it is going to be across all Google platforms and it's going to be used also. Let's say if you do like a Google review, that's going to be the name that shows up. So make it something good, but once you get whatever name, nickname, or whatever name you want out there, then you can go ahead and comment your ass off because I love when y'all comment. So definitely change the name if necessary so you could join the podcast. All right. So y'all know I like to start with a portion called appreciation. And today I want to show appreciation for when a woman is enthusiastic about oral sex, about giving oral sex. So I love when a woman is just she just her joy, at least one of her joys, comes from performing oral sex on me and seeing, the pleasure I get from it and the joy I get from it. And it just does something for her. Even if she's, on her cycle and not necessarily in a place where she wants to go with full out, intercourse, she's more than willing and ready to, provide other services. And I appreciate that. Even if I don't necessarily want it at the time, her enthusiasm and knowing that she's ready to go and just excited about it transfers to me, and I'm ready for it at that point. So I love that. And I want to give appreciation to the people out there that just willingly, do the oral thing just for fun, just because they love it. That's that great appreciation to all of y'all. Thank you. All right. So today we are getting into some stuff today again. Today, it's kind of like a would you rather episode, where it's like asking scenarios and which one you would prefer. So the first question is, would you prefer a lover that has exceptional intercourse skills or a lover that has exceptional oral skills? Oral meaning providing oral pleasure. Which one would you go for? I'm really curious, and I want to hear what the audience has to say as well, and I'll give my perspective on it. Hands down for me, it would be a woman with exceptional intercourse skills, because oral is good even when oral is at its best. Um, it's more of a novelty for me. It's more of like a special occasion thing for me, not like, birthdays only. But for me, oral is more of a way to get things started so we can get into intercourse. It's one of those things that I consider is like, I don't really use the term foreplay, but I understand what people use it to talk about. But oral sex is definitely more of a pre-intercourse activity as opposed to like the main thing. And that's always been the way I feel. There's something about being inside of a warm vagina it's irreplaceable. I mean, you can't find that anywhere else. You can't replace that with any other feeling. A mouth feels good too, but does a mouth really feel like a vagina though? Nah, not really. I mean, even a person with the best oral skills, it would be really, really good, but it just doesn't match up to me. It's not the same. And the sensation also is different. So the energy that happens, there's two parts to this, right? There's the energy that transfers when I'm inside, when my penis is in a vagina. It's like they come together and there's like a synergy almost that happens, almost like a combination of energies coming together. And it makes me feel like a superhero at that point. And I could really express myself creatively as well. And I've felt like my dick is the perfect tool for expressing myself sexually and creatively. I could do it with my tongue too, but the tongue is a little bit more, I don't know. The tongue just seems a little different. So for me, I would definitely go for that. But I want to hear what y'all have to say out there. I'm really curious what y'all would go for or what y'all would prefer. I asked this question on my IG and it was kind of like I think most people said they prefer a lover with exceptional intercourse skills from what I remember. But maybe here in the chat, y'all might feel different. So let me know what y'all feel. While I sip. All right. We have Being Me Perfectly. Welcome back. Says exceptional intercourse skills, please. All right. Is there any particular reason that you prefer the exceptional intercourse over the exceptional oral skills? Because I've heard some people say they'll take the exceptional oral skills, the dope dome over, the dope intercourse. So what's your reasoning behind it? I'm just curious. I know she's not the only one watching and listening. Y'all go ahead and don't be shy. It's okay. It's just me and you over here. And maybe, 50, 100, 150 other people watching. But that's it. Nobody I'm sure. That was another part I wanted to add to that as well, for why I chose that over exceptional head. So for head, right? It's more about the visuals, right? The visual and the enthusiasm is kind of what excites me about head. The sensation feels good. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I even feel close enough, or it feels good enough to where I'm close enough to, or not orgasming, but to ejaculating. But it's more about how it looks. It's more about the situation. So if it happens in a situation where it was unexpected, or in a place where maybe it shouldn't happen, or you know yeah, that makes it a lot more exciting, and it definitely gives it a different type of edge and excitement. So that does more for me than the actual sensation of, of the head itself. But when it comes to the intercourse, though, no matter where it's at, it's more about the energies coming together, and there's something that just happens there that doesn't happen with oral sex. So I agree with you. I agree with you that even at its best, oral sex doesn't get the job done for me. Okay. Now, when you say get the job done, I assume you're talking about ejaculation or ejaculation and orgasm. I can't say it doesn't get me there. Usually doesn't get me there, but that's because I've mentioned before on this podcast that I'm more of a one long rounder as opposed to, coming back to back to back. So after I get my one nut, I'm out for a while. Therefore, if I let go during oral sex, I'm done. I don't get, what I consider the main event, which I'm really looking forward to. And so I like to hold off, even if it's really, really good. I like to hold off unless that's the only thing that's happening. And we know that sometimes that's the only thing that's happening. If for whatever reason intercourse is not on the table, then that might be it. So Being Me Perfectly says, for me, there's an unfinished feeling. Okay, so you feel like the intercourse is what kind of gets the rest of the job done, I guess, to some degree. Which I understand. I get it. I wouldn't say unfinished, but for me, it's definitely a preference for sure. Like, no contest. So, okay, so I have another question, right? If you had the option of what I would consider, people will use the term smashing, right? To basically say that, two people or people have had sex. I think that's a little I don't know. I don't really agree with that being the term for sex. That seems a little aggressive. But I use the term smashing to signify like a type of sex, more like sex without emotion, more of like a pounding type of sex, more, just more aggressive sex. So if you had a choice, right, of only having one or the other, having either smashing for the rest of your life or what I consider loving for the rest of your life, which is a little bit more gentle, slower, more sensual, maybe more energetic in terms of, if you're into that kind of thing. Which one would you rather? Because one obviously is a lot more popular, especially if you're watching porn or if you see it on anything else. You see a lot of the smashing, the bang, 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 and, a lot of noises and all that other stuff, a lot of smacking, a lot of choking, a lot of extra stuff. But which would you rather if you had the choice of just one and you can't change that anymore? What would it be? So Rachel Dale says gentle. Okay, fair enough. By the way, mine is definitely loving for sure. Like naturally, that's what I am. Like that's who I am as a sexual being. I am most definitely a lover more than anything. And I always say that I express love through sex. And so that's an easy answer for me. But when I'm called upon to smash it, I could smash it. I could pound it. But it's not my preference necessarily. But if somebody needs that done, if I'm called to the plate to do a job, I'm going to do the job. It's just not my preference. Can there be an in-between? No, there cannot. Not in this scenario. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Because in-between is probably, I would say that's my preference, and my go-to is to be in between, because you definitely want to be able to change the pace, and you don't want to just go slow and gentle the whole time. Sometimes you need to mix it up, speed it up, go a little bit harder, and change different things up. So the combination would be too easy. Most people would choose the in between, I think, than anything else. So it's got to be one or the other. If you had to choose between gentle loving or pounding, which would it be? Mm, yeah, that's. I was reading some something that I wrote about why I prefer the loving over the pounding, and I'm just like, yeah, that's so true. What I wrote was smashing feels no better than just friction of masturbation, and clearly I could do that on my own time. So if that's what I'm going for, kind of like just the frictional sensation is what I want to call it, then that's something I could do on my own, and I really don't need another person there to do that. So not necessarily. I mean, not necessary to do that. Um, so that's another reason why the gentle. I don't know if y'all know this, right? This is a little gem I'm gonna drop for y'all if y'all don't know. For those of you out there who have only been experiencing sex as this all the time or most of the time, you actually experience more sensation typically when you slow it down a little bit, just a little bit. You don't have to, slow it all the way down, but slow it down just a little bit, and you'll see that you can feel everything a little bit more, and you can really get the experience of sex and the closeness as well, which is something that a lot of people miss out on sex because they never get to learn that. They only know sex as just a a very uh, how do you say? Uh, they know it as just something that's kind of like on its very lowest level. You're attracted to somebody, they're attracted to you, and there's a strong physical attraction. But a lot of people don't learn the aspect of the energy coming together and also being able to connect with somebody through sex, because connecting with somebody through sex is a very powerful thing, and it's a very uh deep and palpable thing as well. Being Me Perfectly says loving. All right, I'm right there with you. Thank you for choosing the side that I chose. Even though you're all welcome to choose whatever side you want. So yeah, definitely try it. If you never have, definitely try to slow it down some and connect with the person that you're with in that moment. And you may get a different experience of sex than you've ever had before. You can get an experience that honestly takes sex to a whole nother level that you maybe didn't know was possible. And that's what to me, that's what sex is about, man. To me, sex is the closest thing to seeing God as you can come on this earth. And people may feel some kind of way about that, but that's how I feel about it. And that's what I've experienced as well. Um, if not, then, maybe y'all just not connecting enough. Maybe y'all not doing it all the way. I'm not gonna say all the way right. You could do it any way you want. But when you connect through sex, you really have a different type of experience that maybe you've never had before, and maybe it's hard to replicate in everyday life. Leo, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast. I appreciate you being here, man. Design Guru says level up. Okay, I see. I see. Being Me Perfectly says, I enjoy the moments when I'm being held, caressed, and kissed, so loving would be my preferred choice. Those are more reasons, of course, to go with loving over smashing. Or smashing or pounding, however you want to call it, is a lot less sensual, maybe a lot less touch, maybe not as much kissing. It's a lot more about the genitals and, like I said, friction between the genitals as opposed to soft touches and kisses and caresses, which are very, very important. Design Guru says, wait until or if you have a child, sex doesn't compare. So are you saying that sex gets better after you have a child, or I'm curious now. You have my interest piqued. What do you mean, design guru? Does it get better? Rachel Dale says, did you start with smashing when you were younger, or did you develop your loving skills as you got older? That's a great question. That is a solid question. I would honestly say that I started like a lot of people. We watch porn, and that's where we learn a lot of our early ideas about sex and how it's done or how it should be done. So I'm no different. I started in that space as well. However, I also had some background knowledge. I was kind of a sex nerd, so I'd be studying about sex and learning about sex on my own. So I knew that it wasn't all about smashing. There was like precision to it. Like there were areas that you want to focus on. There were things that you want to do a little bit before to get the body warmed up. And there were ways to get to your goal. If your goal is orgasm, some more efficient ways than others, because I studied a little bit, but I was definitely about the smashing more as a younger man. And I still do it now sometimes. But again, it's for change of pace. It can't always be the same pace in either direction. So you got to be able to switch it up and do different things. But yeah, I'd say pretty early on, although I did a lot of smashing, I also was very knowledgeable about what spots I need to focus my attention on, and kind of not going so hard on those parts, and understanding connection as well. Leo says, finally able to catch you. Hey, I am happy and excited that you're here. Finally, you could see me as I'm actually on live. And thank you for joining the podcast. I really appreciate you being here. Design Guru says, I'm going with bang, 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 bang. Boomerang the movie. Oh, you talking about Pops. Bang, 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 bang. R.I.P. Pops, John Witherspoon. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Now I want to ask you something, Design Guru. Have you experienced sex on a more on a slower and more sensual level as well? Being Me Perfectly says, good question at Rachel Dale. Also says, laughing at Design Guru. Leo says, it depends on your partner. I like that. It does depend on the partner. I've been in situations where women have been used to bang, 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 and I've opened their eyes up to the sensual side of sex. So it does depend on the partner. However, sometimes there can be moments of learning where not just I can teach, but I can learn something as well. It doesn't just go one way, it can go both ways for sure. But I know that I've opened maybe some younger women's eyes to slowing it down and experiencing sex on a more energetic level. Okay, so from the earlier question, I'm referring to the idea of experienced love or godly likeness, and my reference to my proximity to experiencing love or euphoria from fatherhood I have for my children. Okay, fair enough. All right, I like that. I like it. In truth, slower is nicer. Yeah, they both have their place. You know what I'm saying? Like they definitely have their time and place, because sometimes it's kind of nice to just, bang it out with your partner. Like maybe I might have a quickie going, or, you're in a situation where you just don't have, I don't know. Also too, when it's very primal in terms of the attraction, and maybe the situation is just like, ooh, I just want you on such a carnal and physical level, that it has to it ends up being bang, 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 because that's just what it is. Like that's just where the energy is. Sometimes the energy is not on slower and slower and nicer and more gentle. Maybe it's on some smashing stuff. Like somebody's like fuck me good, and if that's the case, you need to do what you told. It's probably a good idea to just follow the instruction of your partner if that's what they want at that moment. So definitely be able to switch it up and do either or. But again, in a situation where I have to choose one, I'm definitely going with the slower and gentle, because that's more sustainable too. As I get older, I'm not going to have knees of a young man forever. So, I need to be able to do kind of like the slower as well. Communication of teaching and learning, as well as understanding that particular person. I agree. Now, luckily in this scenario, the person is open to either one. It just depends on whatever you're more comfortable with in this scenario. But in real life, for sure, you want to make sure that the person you're with is a good match for whatever you're trying to do, or whatever you'd like to accomplish. Design Guru says, quickies have their place. Don't get me wrong. Those can be equally as rewarding. True. Also says, or Design Guru also says, but if there were a majority, I always choose to take my time, zero rush. I'm with you. What's the rush? I like to say we got all night, even if we really don't, because people have jobs and people have things to do in the morning. But I like the idea that we have all night. That way, no one's rushing, and it's really just going at the pace it should be going at, which is whatever the pace is, the natural, organic pace of what's going on, as opposed to something being forced or kind of like pressed. Design Guru also says, clearly the men on here are about came from that Jodeci area. This is true. It sounds like it. Or that who had that song? That H-Town era. Nice and slow. Remember that? Yeah, that. So yeah, I think the guys on here are on that as well. But yeah, it's a nice vibe when you can slow it down a little bit. We came from the Jodeci era. Agreed. We are from that era. We are from that era. And you see Leo is laughing because I think he agrees and he could attest, So I had another question, right? That's that scenario. I had another let me get this question for y'all real quick because I want to ask it the correct way. So I've been seeing this a lot online. Y'all probably been seeing it too on IG. There are these videos of men giving sensual massages, with oils and stuff like that, to women, right? And I want to know, let's do a hypothetical. We have, a combination of men and women in the chat. So let's say your partner, would you be okay with your partner providing sensual massages for money? Of course. I mean, they're getting paid for this. This is their job. Would you be okay with your partner providing sensual massages to people of the opposite sex for money? Let's see what the chat is talking about. I agree with that. Leo, definitely depends on your partner. I'd even go a step further to say depends on time allotted, i.e. quickies. That's true. That's so true. I mean, if you're with somebody who likes one and doesn't like the other, then I hope y'all can find a middle ground if y'all are not on the same page. Leo says, yes, sir. And I think that was answering the Jodeci era part. So Design Guru says, mixtapes, baby. I remember making slow jam tapes to set the mood in advance. I did the same thing. And I've been on the massage game since there was Cinemax. Okay. That's what's up. Massages are nice. Even to give, massages are cool. Rachel says, no, and no. I'd be banging on the door ready to fight. Oh man, really? So he can't go out and make this money? I'm assuming if your partner is a male, he or she cannot go out and make this money. Come on now, it's good. There's got to be good money in it. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. If you Florida, feel free to call me. So if you're in Florida, call Leo for those essential massages. He's saying that for sure. He's handing them out, like candy. Of course, you're gonna have to pay, but being me perfectly says hell to the nah. Okay, I guess that's no for her. Oh, actually, Leo's nah. Leo's like no on the massage. No to the massage. Yeah, he's not with it. Those women commenting on those videos are usually ready to risk it all. So that's a no for me. I have not read any of the comments, or maybe I've read a few, but I definitely haven't gone down the rabbit hole of the comments on those videos. Shit, even the women in the videos look like um I would say this, right? If you're gonna do it, or if you have a partner that is willing to do it, right? They have to know themselves very well. And what that means is they have to understand what they're capable of and also what their weaknesses are. If they don't understand their weaknesses, meaning their weaknesses with the opposite sex, they're fucked because they're gonna come across somebody who is going to maybe seduce them or just give them enough of something that they maybe didn't think of or they didn't realize was possible to get got with. And next thing you know, that massage turns into what a lot of us have probably seen, a massage turning into a lot more than a massage. So, as the person doing it, you would definitely have to be professional at all times and you would have to know yourself. If you know that once you start rubbing on some ass and, start rubbing on a man or a woman, you start to get a little heated, then chances are this is not the job for you. This is not the profession. And if you have a partner, this is definitely not the profession to go for unless you and your partner have an agreement that this is okay. But chances are that's not the case. So know yourself. I feel like if I met the partner and she was already doing that, I wouldn't stop her from doing it. If it's something she wanted to do after we got into the relationship, this would be a long conversation we would have to have and really get to the bottom of why. And if the why is, if it's a good enough why or a deep enough why, I'd have to be all right with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have to roll with it, to be honest. Like, I'm not about stopping anybody from doing anything they want to do. In fact, I feel like in a relationship, it should be instead of blocking the other person from doing certain things, you should be allowing each other to expand in the direction that they want to expand in. Obviously, within the confines and the restrictions of the relationship. However, I want to leave enough room for that person to grow and do whatever it is they feel like they need to do or want to do. But that would be a long conversation for sure. For sure. And me, would I do it? I'd probably do it. Probably. But again, I know myself. I love ass. And massaging a woman has a lot of energy. I have a lot of energy that I give off in my hands. And so that could be a dangerous combination. However, if I was single, possibly, not necessarily. It actually takes a lot to give a lot of energy like that all the time. So I probably wouldn't do it. I had a homie and his girl did massages. So I booked her for a private session. What kind of massages though? Like regular massages or these oil extra sensual, half closed off massages? Just curious. Not trying to get in your business, but I'm just trying to see, kind of like how to what level was it on? I would love it if my man did it for me. I'd be down for that. Well, of course. I mean, most people would be down for that. That's cheating. Of course, you'd be down for him to do it to you. That's understandable, though. I get it. Me and the homie don't speak no more though. Not sure why, but the massage was good though. Whoever design guru is, you a fool, man. Oh, that is funny. Rachel says, I've definitely had a few massages that went left. So I agree with knowing yourself and trusting your partner. That's true. I mean, those are key factors in doing anything like that. Or even if your partner is into other stuff, like let's say escorting, which is another level, obviously, but um where your partner does actually engage in some kind of sexual activity, there has to be a certain level of trust and understanding for sure. But again, I can't say I'd be against it. If the why is deep enough, then you know, I can't say I'd be against it. Leo says this should have been on IG. You know what? This is the thing about IG, right? IG has like a different. I'm gonna do an episode on IG. Let me just say that. It just wasn't this one. But I'll definitely do an episode on IG for sure. Before I even start to make excuses or say reasons why I can't, I can. And I will do an episode on IG. I got you. Deep enough why? Huh. You have to control your energy. You sure do. You got to control your energy. You know what though? Again, that's in knowing yourself. Me, I know the best way to control my energy is to be getting sexual intercourse already. If I was in my stage, 5 months ago where I was like a year and a half without having sex, I'm not gonna start a business where I'm giving sensual massages because I'd be fucking. I mean, that's the truth. I would likely fall or stumble at some point, and even though I would still be professional, I would always give the option and say, if you feel like you want to take this to somewhere sexual, for one, it's not going to happen right now because you're paying me right now for a massage. And two, I can no longer give you massages. So you would have to decide whether you want the massages anymore or if you just want the sex. But it's not going to be both. So that's the least I could do in terms of being professional and, making sure that I'm not uh, interacting with my clients on a very, very unethical, uh, in an unethical way. And Leo's laughing about it. You do have to control your energy, though. You do, but I think that starts with knowing yourself and knowing who you are. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I saw those videos and I was like, man, when I see those kind of videos, I always be like, man, I could do something like that because I mean, I think I give decent massages, especially if I'm in a certain zone and mode. I could give really good sensual massages, but in reality, when I think about it, it's like me thinking about whether I could do. In the past, I used to think about doing being like a male stripper, right? Back in the day. Talking about like years and years ago. I was like, man, maybe I could do this while I'm, in school, get a little bit of extra money. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, nah, my energy ain't there for that. Like I wouldn't be able to be in that space every time I had to go to work. Like all those type of things are a lot more fun when I'm doing it on my own, you know, because I want to, not because it's a job. Once it turns into a job, I think it loses the interest and the fun. I don't know, but I'm laughing, y'all. Y'all have no idea, but I'm laughing because uh, there's another person making me laugh. But yeah, she's a little camera shy, so being me perfectly says, you think you could be one of those paid cuddlers? You know what? I've considered that. I've considered the cuddling thing too. And no, because again, I'm a feeler. And so I can't be I can't be with everybody's energy all the time, or I'd probably be going home feeling some kind of way. Either I'd be drained or I'd be going home with other people's energy, and I don't need that. So if I wasn't the energetic person I was, and I could do that, but I'm good on that. Not only that, cuddling for me also tends to lead to other stuff. So I would have to have a very, very strong partnership with somebody already where sex is being taken care of regularly, and that's not an issue. If I'm horny, then I might have a slip up during a cuddle, and I don't need that. Design Guru says, bruh. Leo says, being me, yes. Being me perfectly says, yo, I'm rolling at you wanting to be a stripper. You're not the only one, apparently. Apparently, a lot of people are laughing about it. What can I say, man? This is a thought. I've thought of doing the cuddling thing. I've thought of escorting. I've thought of massages. What can I say? But at the end of the day, I know myself enough to know that I probably wouldn't be able to do all of them. I can't do all that stuff on command, like I really have to be in a space to be able to do them at a high level. Design Guru says, I have been asked to be a cuddler. I declined because I knew I wasn't going to get paid. Oh, well, yeah. If ain't no money involved, that's that's an easy no, unless you're into cuddling. Sometimes, and I'll admit this, right? I'm an affectionate person. So I enjoy affection from time to time. Most of the time from somebody I actually like, but sometimes I'll take it from, somebody I semi like or I don't really like that, but still it's a good cuddle. Or a good affection. So I can't say that if I'm not getting paid, I wouldn't do it. But in most cases, if it's not a sexual relationship I have with the person, we probably not cuddling like that because we not cuddling like that. Chances are, because I don't want it to be a situation where there's pressure on you or me to do something that either of us is wanting to do or agree to do in this situation. So, and I definitely do not want to go home with my balls hurting. I've had that happen a few times too many, and I vowed to not let that happen again. So the way that I stop that from happening is not putting myself in positions where, I'll be aroused or excited to do more than what I'm there to do. Leo says, control, my guy. Control is important, but everybody ain't got it. And I'll admit, sometimes I don't either. I have a lot of willpower, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have very little. And if somebody catches me slipping at the wrong time, it won't take much to get me. So I typically control that by controlling my surroundings and my environment and not putting myself in position to be got if I don't want to get got. Design Guru says, LOL at Leo. Design Guru says, nah, cause it goes from cuddle to sex. She wins. I get sweaty, tired, and lost wages. Nah. Oh, that was from the earlier comment about not getting paid. I get that. It does not seem like a fair trade when you put it that way. Getting sweaty, tired, and lost wages. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's kind of like not a fair exchange. And then at the end of it, she gets the cuddle she wanted. She's probably sleeping soundly because you cuddled her to sleep, and you're just sweaty and upset. So I get that. Like I said, that's why I don't put myself in positions where, yeah, you're not going to get me. Not like that. Sorry. Not unless I'm in a space where I want the affection and I'm okay with just giving the affection. But that doesn't happen often. So, all right. So I got something for y'all. Do y'all have any particular questions for me? Something y'all want to know? Because I love answering y'all questions and I love interacting with the audience as we are doing right now. Being Me Perfectly says she must be a beauty because you keep looking to the side. Ha ha. She is. She is. I can't lie. Try not to be distracted. That's what I'm trying to do. How have I been doing? Have I been pretty focused though? Even though I've had, you know, quite the jewel to the left of me? Huh? Have I been pretty? Yeah. Okay. I think I've done pretty well. Yeah. Yeah. So any questions out there? I want to open the floor up to the chat. What do y'all have to ask? What do y'all want to know? What do y'all want to share? At this point, we're becoming, a family. For some of y'all, I'm already family, but for others, we're quickly becoming that. And by the way, I want to thank everybody who's watching live, whether you're in the chat or not. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being on. Thank you for enjoying the content if you enjoy it. And I'm just happy to have people that actually do this voluntarily and not because, anybody asked them to or anything like that. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And it goes a long way. All right. So Rachel says, so speaking of oral versus intercourse, have you ever had an orgasm from oral? Yeah, I have. When was the last time that's happened though? Damn, when's the last time that's happened? That's a great question. That really has me thinking, like, when the last time I actually ejaculated off of. Now you're talking about ejaculation, I assume. So it's probably been some years, a couple years, maybe a few years. The thing about that too, let me get into this, right? It's not that I can, but there's two parts to that. One is what I told you earlier of me not wanting to give everything up. And then now I'm out for the next, who knows, 30 minutes at least before we can do anything else. But the other part too is that if you're not somebody who takes it in, you don't have to swallow, but if you're somebody who doesn't want it in your mouth, then now I feel like things can get kind of messy too. And I don't like a mess. So I'm a nasty dude when it comes to sex. But I don't like the mess. So unless you're taking it in your mouth and, you're kind of disposing of it that way, I don't know. It just seems like it's going to be a lot to have to clean up and so there's two parts to that. Design Guru says, first time you shaved your balls, what age? And how was the experience? Did the girl appreciate it? All right, first time I shaved my balls, probably in college, I would say. I don't think the person really cared because I didn't do it. I don't know if I did it for a woman. I think I just did it to stay groomed or to try it out. I don't think the person noticed. And maybe because I'm not big on head that, I probably had somebody at the time who wasn't even going for balls and all that extra stuff. They was just like, all right, let's get into the intercourse because that's my area. That's where I have the most fun. So typically the person I'm with is looking forward to me getting to that part too. So I don't think it made a difference, to be honest. Great question though. Thank you. Being Me Perfectly says, what do you have against the word foreplay? Which word would you use instead? So the thing I have against the word foreplay is it makes it seem like it's separate from sex, like it's not sex. So oral sex, playing with the erogenous zones, kissing, all those kind of things are looked at as something totally separate from intercourse. And intercourse becomes the only thing that people consider as sex, which is not true. Obviously, oral sex is sex because it's in the name. But it's just a semantics thing. So when you say foreplay, you just don't you don't look at it as a part of sex, and also you don't look at that as being able to be a standalone. Like you can't just do oral sex and have a good time. It has to lead to something more or the real thing, as some people put it. So that's the only thing. Great question as well. Being Me Perfectly. Thank you. Leo McCrae says, at design, bro, you stupid. And then he laughs. Being Me Perfectly says, also, what's your ideal foreplay situation? You know what? I like foreplay to go for a long time. If we're using the word foreplay, I like for it to go for a while. My ideal situation is a lot of kissing, a lot of caressing, and I like for it to go a while. Like maybe ideally 30, 40 minutes before we even get to anything, of me, sticking anything in anything. Uh 30, 40 minutes of that is a good time. I love to kiss. And so for me, I could do that for a long time and really warm myself up and also warm her up in the process before we get into anything intercourse related. So that's my ideal situation, is a lot of kissing, a lot of touching, and just warming up for as long as we could hold out before actually moving on to intercourse. Leo says, Jay, you need yourself a head doctor. Look, maybe I do. I don't know. Look, even if I had a head doctor, right? I feel like I would appreciate it. I've actually experienced a couple women who, when I tell you one in particular, she loved and really enjoyed, giving head. And that brought joy to me, obviously, because her joy was my joy. But I loved it. It was great. But I was still always like, all right, afterwards, I'd be like, all right, well, that was wonderful. That was awesome. Thank you. But may I have some of that pussy, please? Because that is that's my happy place, man. What can I say? I love being inside. I love being inside. It's nothing like it. And so even feeling the back of somebody, this is getting a little adult. Hopefully you don't have any children around y'all, but even feeling the back of somebody's throat is it's such a beautiful feeling. But however, still doesn't compare to being inside of a warm, moist vagina. I'm sorry. Nothing like it. I would appreciate it though. Like I love the way it feels, and I'm not gonna stop somebody from doing that. But at the end of it, I'm still gonna want something else. Design Guru says, I asked because I want to know if ladies have livened, or you gotta help me out here. Leaving to have a preference, grass on the court or clean field? That's a good question. And maybe the ladies on here could answer that. Do y'all prefer somebody who is clean shaven, or who has, a little bit of a bush? What do y'all think, ladies? Like, what's y'all preference? Oh, learn. Got you. Okay, got you. I didn't appreciate oral until I had an exceptional moment that changed it for everyone that followed. Ooh. Head has become a standalone activity and no longer requires the follow through to sex. Wow. Okay. I guess the right type of head could do that to you, huh? Where you don't need anything else after that. All right. Respect. Design Guru, respect. I've heard other people say that too. Leo says, damn. And Design Guru came back and said she was saying learned. My bad for, butchering that sentence. My fault. Rachel says, doesn't matter as long as it doesn't smell. So that's in regards to the question about clean shaved or a bush. She says, as long as it doesn't smell. Leo says, at Rachel, my type of woman. I guess Leo agrees in seconds that that's what it should be. It's like it shouldn't really matter. Being Me Perfectly says, I appreciate manscaping. Okay. So it all depends. It all depends on the woman that you're dealing with. And hopefully y'all can have that conversation and she could tell you straight up, like, hey, can you cut it down a little bit, or can you let it grow out a little bit? If it's not too much for the other person, then maybe you can accommodate. Being Me Perfectly says, at Rachel, high five. Look at people in the chat just connecting and such. I like that. So Design Guru says, ladies, how have you responded to prostate stimulation? So is that how they've responded to them stimulating someone else's prostate is what I'm assuming you're asking, right? Design Guru? Which is a great question, by the way. Great question. I think I brought this up before too for me, and I haven't experienced prostate stimulation. I'm not in a rush to get to it. Yeah. I mean, if it happens, then yeah, it's got to be preparation for that. I've already gone through why for me, but to each his or her own for sure. Being asked to stimulate a guy, yes. So what's that experience been like for y'all? If your partner has wanted that, or if you've done that for them. There was another question on here that somebody asked earlier that I wanted to refer to. Leo says, no, sir. None of that for you, Leo? No prostate stimulation. It might be a very pleasant experience. I'm just saying, you never know. You never know. I feel like for the most part, all is fair in sex with your partner. For the most part. If it feels good, of course. If it's pleasurable, then go for it. If it's not, then why are you doing it? I mean, that's just how I look at it. It doesn't have to be everybody else's outlook, but that's my outlook. At Leo, bro, you like it. You might like it more than music. Rachel says, never been asked, and I wouldn't do it if I was asked. Okay, so Rachel ain't down for the cause. She's like, hey, I'm not interested. I can't help you in that department. You're going to have to find somebody else to service your needs. If so, I mean, I respect that. She knows her boundaries. She knows what she's willing to and not to do. So, nothing wrong with that. Leo says, nah, dog. He says, at design, I'm straight. Okay, fair enough. And you see, into each his or her own, like everybody has. This is what I love about sex, right? One of the things I love about sex is that it's so different. The experience can be so different for everybody who's involved, depending on who you're with and what you're interested in, what you like, what your interests are. It's the possibilities seem almost endless in terms of what you can do and how you can experience it. And so that part of sex is like a creative outlet that really allows you to express yourself in a very wide range of ways. And I love that about it. Like I've said before, it's definitely one of my creative outlets and a way that I find myself expressing myself and also connecting spiritually. So I love that about it, though. I know I'm not the only one. I'm interested to know what y'all drinking tonight. I know I'm not the only one sipping on something, right? We can't be here talking about sex and nobody's sipping on anything. Like, I can't see that. Unless you're like recovering or something like that, please sip on water or lemonade or something like that. But, I'm really curious to see what people are ingesting drink wise. I'm not trying to be all in your business otherwise. Design says, or Design's just laughing at Leo's comment. Rachel says, hard ciders over here. All right. Cheers, Rachel. Hopefully it's good. What is it? Monday, right? Man, seems like the week is almost over already, even though it's only the beginning. It's a weird feeling. Strange. Hard ciders. Design Guru says, but tonight, my friend, tequila, 1800. Whoa. Okay. Damn, is you sipping tequila or what's going on? You taking shots? That's I like that. Cheers. That's what's up. You going all the way in tonight on a Monday night. I'm with it. Leo says, real talk. I've had a female ask me. I eventually gave in, but almost slapped the shit out of her. It was uncomfortable. Okay. So okay, you tried and you weren't liking it. That's fair. At least you've tried it though. I mean, that's more than a lot of people could say. So at least you've tried it. So but you didn't like it. You weren't with it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. At least you can speak from experience. What's in your cup? I'm drinking a hard cider as well. That's my drink of choice. Yeah, I know I like the cider or the seltzer when I'm on here. If I'm celebrating, I'll do some sparkling wine. Sipping quality, bro. Okay, I see you. Because if you was taking shots over here, I'm like, man, Design, you are out here wilding on a Monday night. For real. But if you're sipping it, I totally understand. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna open it up a little bit longer for if you guys have any more questions, if you have any more requests, things you want to discuss, then we could do that before I get up out of here. I'm not in a rush. I'm just letting y'all know. The floor is open for whoever would like to share. I love the interaction, by the way, y'all. I love the way you guys are asking questions. You guys are talking to one another, talking to me. It's great because I do want this platform, this to be more of a conversation as opposed to me talking to you. I'm not talking at you or talking to you. I want to be talking with you. I want us all to be involved in a conversation together. So Leo says, I'm on the truck. No drinking when I'm out on the road. Okay. And I agree with you. Very responsible. Thank you for that. I appreciate that because I'm sure not every person holds that same thought. All right. So if y'all have nothing else for me, I will end the podcast at this point. It was a great pleasure to have y'all in here tonight. I love the conversation. I love the way it went, the way it flowed. And we got a question. Hold on. Being Me Perfectly says, have you sucked a woman's toes before? I have sucked toes before. I have. But it was in a very specific. First of all, when I first did it, it was like back in college, so I don't really count that. When I did it more recently, had to come straight out the shower, and then it was cool. But did she come straight out the shower? I think she did come out the shower at some point, like before I did it. So in that circumstance, cool. But other than that, if you've been walking all day, if you've been walking all day in sandals, nah. You already know I'm not with the feet like that. So if I suck your toes, if I suck her toes, it's got to be freshly cleaned toes that have barely touched the ground. I will carry you to the bed and then suck your toes, just so I know that your feet are where they need to be. Leo asked, at being me, have you ever sucked or have you had your toes sucked? Oh, that's a good question. Good question to ask back. Have you had your toes sucked? And that's for everybody on here. Have you had your toes sucked before at any point in time? I have not. Not interested in it. Don't need anybody sucking my toes. Again, I like to kiss. So I don't need to taste my feet in somebody else's mouth or tongue. So that's me personally. I'm good. But which one of y'all have had y'all toes sucked? And that could be The ladies or the guys in here, it doesn't matter. Go either way. At Leo, yes, and it felt amazing. I was shocked that I enjoyed it so much. Okay. So there's definitely a pleasure, especially from what I've heard too, that feels pretty damn good. So um sorry I'm not a foot person, or I would add it into my repertoire, but it's not something I could do regularly. I'm sorry. A lot of the good stuff comes from somebody enjoying to do what they're doing. So if you're doing it just for the sake of you think it's gonna feel good for the other person, but you kind of like doing it without the enthusiasm, it's probably not gonna be all that. Leo says, "Oh, so we have silent freaks in here." Design Guru says, "I've sucked toes for sure." Rachel says, "I'm ticklish, so I wouldn't want my feet in someone's mouth." And you know what? It's probably a good idea, because if you know you're ticklish and you might end up kicking somebody in the face, as they're sucking your toes, we don't need what movie was that on? 40-Year-Old Virgin. We don't need that. Not necessary, not sexy to be kicked in the face while you're trying to give somebody pleasure. So good call. Good call, Rachel, to not put your foot in anybody's mouth because you don't want to hurt them. So this next episode, right? I want to do something special. I don't know how yet, but it's the 21st episode, and 21 is a important number for me. Um, Not only was it Deion Sanders' number back in the day, and that was like my idol as a child growing up, football star, but 21 is just a number I love. So for next week's episode, I'm gonna do something. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm gonna have something special for y'all. Hopefully I can come into that episode with a bang and give you all much of what you've been experiencing already and a little bit more. So again, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but make sure to join me for next week's episode. Thank you to everyone who's in here, asking questions, answering questions, and making comments. Leo says, so to everyone, do you like giving or receiving? Rachel says giving, as in sucking somebody else's toes. Okay, Rachel, I see you. Sucking toes over here. Okay, I like that suggestion. Being Me Perfectly says for 21st episode, you and all your viewers should have a shot. That's the least of what should happen. You know what I should do too? Whoever is on and willing to get on the podcast should join me on that episode. We could bring up whatever you want to bring up and talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I can get up to 4 people on at once. So I want to definitely bring some people on. So keep that in mind. Have yourself ready. Have yourself presentable next Monday. So if you want to get on, then you can get on. And honestly, if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to. Like, you come in with just the sound, and that's cool too. But yeah, I want to have beautiful people in the chat join me on next episode and get in on this conversation a little bit more personally, so people know you a little bit better as well. Leo says at Rachel, so you are a pleaser. Being Me Perfectly says I'm a giver. So that means you're sucking toes, right? Wait, right? That means you're sucking toes, right? If you're a giver. Yeah. Leo says I would love that, bro. Good. Leo, hopefully that day you're not driving and you could take a shot with us. We'll see how it goes, but I'd love it if you could take a shot with us, because we're definitely going to be taking a shot for sure. Being Me Perfectly says we're past the sucking toes topic. I believe Leo just meant in general. Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. Dang. Y'all got your own side conversations going. Fine. All right. So get ready to take a shot next Monday of whatever your drink of choice is. I'm probably gonna have tequila. I'll probably get some tequila, yeah. Um, and that will conclude episode number 20. I really appreciate y'all being here tonight. And for those of you watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year, y'all. 1,000 subscribers. So I need y'all in here sharing this, and I need y'all also, just being a part of the conversation, having this thing going. Let everybody know about the sex mechanic. And Leo says, at being me, yes, ma'am. So later to y'all, later design, later Leo, later being me perfectly, later Rachel. And you all will see me next Monday. Peace.